Hello everyone, welcome back to Rooted Living with Nolwazi. Running a B&B or a bed and breakfast looks beautiful from the outside. Welcoming guests, creating warm spaces, and being part of someone's travel story. All amazing things. But I'm here to tell you about the behind the scenes. It requires resilience, compliance, and the third one, strong cash flow management. Today, I want us to honestly talk about the lessons that I've learned in running a B&B during a low cash period. I want us to talk about compliance requirements, which are non-negotiable, by the way. And thirdly, what ideal support looks like from the Department of Tourism and Film in a realistic manner and for small operators like myself. Just as a disclaimer, this is not a complaint, but it is a constructive conversation for us to learn. So lesson number one, like I said, cash flow is everything. That's the first thing that I learned. One of the biggest lessons that I've learned is that revenue in tourism is very seasonal. So you get good seasons. And when I say seasonal, it is also seasonal in where you're at. If you're in a holiday destination, location, that's your seasonal when it's holiday time. But if you are in a place where you mostly host business travelers, when it's holiday time for you, that's your off-peak time. So tourism, when I speak about the seasonality of it, unfortunately the expenses of running or operating a B&B, those do not take a pause, they continue. You get your peak, where bookings are strong, you get your off-peak, where occupancy significantly drops. During this month, like I said, your bills don't take a pause, they still continue. You still have to look at your utilities, your staff costs, your maintenance, your insurance, just to name a few. So cash flow becomes less about profit, but more about survival. It feels like you're in a jungle, like you're trying to survive, trying to live out of this little that you have. But you quickly realize that sustainability in hospitality is not about filling rooms, which I used to think, and I think you also believe that to be sustainable, you need to fill rooms, but rather it is about planning for when the rooms are empty. So when your rooms are empty, what do? You don't jump when they're empty. It's when they are full that you then what? Make sure that you plan for when it is empty. The second one is compliance is non-negotiable, unfortunately. So that's one of the second major things if you are in this business or you want to get into this business. Running a B&B isn't about hosting guests, as you would imagine. I've just mentioned that there's other complexities. It requires regulatory compliance across multiple areas. And I don't think that we are a different industry at all. All industries have got their regulations, and we also have our compliance that we need to ensure that we follow. I'll just mention a few, like your fire safety certification, your health inspections, zoning, municipality, UIF, for example, public liability insurance, just to name a few. So these are things that you have to do, you like, you don't like, and they come at a cost, unfortunately. Why do you need those compliance things that I've mentioned? They protect your guests, ensure standards for your establishment. Thirdly, they create credibility, because if you are a graded establishment, you stand a chance of attracting more people into your establishment. But all of these things come at a cost. So here's the challenge. I think I've been mentioning it. Compliance costs do not just, they don't adjust based on your occupancy rate. Be it you're occupied or not occupied, they're still there. Whether you're fully booked or you have empty, you still need to pay your insurance. So for small operators like myself, those cumulative costs can feel disappropriately heavy. That's my view. So the third one, before we talk much about those compliance and you start being scared, the third one is fun and sad at the same time. The funding realities. There are funding opportunities, fact, and we commend the department for these funding opportunities that are there. I think they cut across small, medium, and large. But I do want to say the process can be complex, document heavy, and time consuming. I make an example. I'm sitting here with a letter that I received on the 5th of February rather. It is a rejection letter of a support program that was advertised, I assume maybe last year. I think it was actually early last year. But I got this rejection letter on the 5th of February. It was signed, or it was meant to go out on the 12th of November. I believe that's when it was created, because that's what it says here. But it got to my mailbox on the 5th of February. So I sat for over a year, hoping that maybe they're still reviewing. And I sat over a year, or a couple of months now after it was signed, to say, actually, Nolwazi has not made it, or her establishment has not been selected, only to get it almost 3 months later after it was signed. So that's what I mean when I say it is also time consuming. So you'd understand that for a small BNB struggling with low cash flow, waiting months for approval is not always possible, because you'll find me with my gates closed, because I was hoping this would come, it would help here and there and there and there. What small operators need is bridging support. Something responsive, practical, and simplified. Now let's talk solutions. Very important. I'm solution driven. If you want small tourism businesses to thrive and not just survive, support structures must align with the reality. So the question I'm having is, are the support structures looking at the reality that the small establishments are facing day in and day out? So here's what ideal support would look like for us. From a compliance perspective, let's look at a tiered approach. What does that look like? Simplified application processes, seasonal relief, further unpacking may be required there, practical mentorship. And I'll take a pause here, because one would argue and say, but there's always this development cohorts and all of that. And I've attended one or two of those. You get there that it feels like you've had this strategy before, and I know it's applicable and I know it's real. But at the end of my cycle, if I was in a mentorship program of 6 months, can I leave with a finance application that is probably subsidized for the next 6 months? I make an example. Can I come out with a website that's integrated with a bookings tool, and that is also a subsidized affiliation? Can I walk out with logos and this, like something tangible? Because these people who are running these establishments are HR managers, they are finance managers, they are maintenance manager, they are the host, and all the other portfolios that exist within an organization. So then, when you then look at all of these other requirements or the support that is needed, if it would be to alleviate in a practical manner these things that will then help build their businesses. So visibility drives occupancy. Occupancy drives sustainability. So the bigger picture is tourism is a powerful driver in South Africa, and in our province, KZN, it also is a powerful driver. I believe that. Small businesses create jobs, they support families, they build communities, but a small operator to remain compliant and competitive, support must be practical, accessible, and responsive. So this conversation is not to say you did this, you didn't do this, you did this, but like a finger pointing a conversation, but it's about strengthening the ecosystem. When small tourism businesses thrive, communities thrive. Fact. If you're a small tourism operator out there, I'd like to hear your experience. But also, if you are a policy or in the development structures, you are influential somewhere in the departments, I hope it adds insights into what sustainability truly looks like on the ground. I just want to thank you for joining our channel, Rooted Living with Nolwazi. Let's continue building businesses that are not just beautiful, but resilient. Have a good day. Thank you.